Okay, so if you're watching this video, chances are you probably know that I basically built this channel on YouTube boxing. And I won't lie, when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing, and I still kind of don't know what I'm doing. All I knew at the time was if I put out content that had Jake Paul and KSI in the title, it would get a few thousand views. But now that 2021 is crazy, but it's actually nearly coming to an end. We're in the last couple months of 2021. Don't even ask me where this year went. I don't remember any of it. It's gone it's gone so quick. As it's coming to an end, I think we should talk about YouTube boxing. Let's be real. YouTube boxing started in 2018. And by the time it gets to next year in 2022, that's going to be where it started like 4 years ago. Let's be real, what do you watch or what do you even care about that happened 4 years ago? And the thing is you got to remember, YouTube is a place that moves extremely fast. Trends, they come in, they stay for a little bit, and then they go out, and then people never talk about it again. I'm not saying that YouTube boxing is a dead trend. All I'm saying is eventually it will be a thing of the past, and it's probably sooner than you expect. A classic example of this is look what happened with Social Gloves. They got like 200,000 pay-per-view buys, and the reason why is because people looked at the event and they were mildly interested in it, but then they're thinking, why am I going to pay to watch this event when literally in a couple of hours later, all of the fights, they're going to be up on YouTube for free? So that was one of the reasons why the pay-per-view buys were pretty damn terrible. But it also has something to do with the fact that people just didn't care all that much. Because you got to remember, when the whole YouTube boxing started, you had giants like KSI, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Deji when he was popping. We had all these big names. It was like a big YouTube community spirit. Like, it was new, it was fresh, it was, no one thought about doing boxing before, but this was like YouTube proving a point to everyone, saying, look, we may be YouTubers, but we can make some pretty damn dope events. And obviously, you got to remember, you had like basically two countries against each other. You had KSI, who had all of England's fan base, and then you had Logan Paul and Jake Paul, who had all of the US fan base. So there you had two massive countries with massive audiences who were like excited to see this fight, which is why the pay-per-view buys were so good. And it was literally guaranteed a success. There was no chance in hell that it was going to fail. And obviously there was all the drama behind it and, all of the stories and why it was so important, blah, 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 blah. And like with the Social Gloves event, they tried to replicate it, but they failed because realistically people didn't care as much. Like, it's already been and done. And then not to mention the people on the card, like, yes, these guys are famous, credit to them, they've done very well. But the difference is these guys, it was just them fighting. There wasn't really any stories behind it, there wasn't really that reason to really give a shit. Because you had all of these TikTokers on here that are followed by 12-year-olds. And let's be real, why would a bunch of TikTok fans, why would they move over to another platform, i.e. YouTube, support their TikTokers there by paying for their fight? Like, come on. Like, the TikTok fans, they're not gonna pay for boxing because A, they don't care, and B, because they're all a bunch of 12-year-olds. And the whole main attraction for this fight was Austin McBroom, a family channel who probably has barely any boxing fans, and all of the views from the Ace family. They're not going to be interested in paying to watch Austin have a fight, are they? And then we have Bryce Hall, where the majority of people wanted Bryce Hall to lose and see him beaten up. So, people aren't going to pay to see that. They're just going to do what I said earlier. They're just going to watch it later on and see if he gets beaten up. I know some people may try and argue with this point that I'm trying to make and say, oh yeah, but Gib was on this card. Yes, Gib has very loyal fans who would most likely pay for the boxing. But the reality is Anderson Gib, although a lot of people know him, a lot of people don't necessarily watch him. Gib has a very loyal fan base, but it's not massive. And obviously, you had Deji, but, you got to remember, although Deji is a massive name, he's not really anymore. Deji has fallen off. So you've got these names that are like big, but not like super big on this event. There's too many people scattered around, from different audiences, small amounts here, small amounts there, and they didn't add up to a massive number because realistically, They overshot it and they thought it was going to be as big as KSI versus Logan Paul, and it never would have been, because KSI versus Logan Paul 1 was massive because it was never been done before. There was a story behind it and it actually meant something, and it was the whole YouTube community that was behind it and promoting it. But with the Social Gloves event, it was just this small batch of YouTubers who are relatively big, but the thing is there wasn't really any charisma, like there wasn't any like proper drama, like, you know, there wasn't that build up and there wasn't that feeling behind it, which is essentially why it failed. And that will just continue to happen over and over again unless there's a change, because realistically these YouTube boxing events, they will not succeed the way KSI versus Logan Paul did unless you have the top dogs in it. I mean, you got KSI. Yes, he says he wants to box, but, you know, realistically, you know, he's only interested in his music, and you would be, wouldn't you? Like, why would KSI go back to boxing when he's killing it in music? Like, he's probably making more money in music now than he ever did in boxing. You got Logan Paul. He just fought Floyd Mayweather. He's not going to take a step back and fight another YouTuber unless it's probably KSI again, and obviously they'll probably do that for fun. And then you got Jake Paul. He's not going to get back into YouTube boxing because Jake Paul's gone mainstream, you know. He's already in the real boxing world. So he broke out of YouTube boxing, so he's not going to go back. And you got to remember, the reason why these guys are the top dogs is because they don't sit on the same trend. They move on. They do different things, and that is why they are as big as they are. It's like, if you think about it this way, let's take Deji. Yes, we're interested to see Deji's return fight. Of course we are. A lot of people are. But realistically, if you had a whole event for Deji's return, is there millions of people that really would pay to see Deji's return? Of course there isn't. People would pay to see KSI and Deji on the same card, and they'd pay to see them win. Like, let's be real. The guys who would probably pay for any YouTube boxing fight are you. The guys that are watching this video right now. But I bet most of you are sat there thinking, yeah, you know, I'd pay for it, but, you know, I don't really have the money for it. The harsh reality is, the whole YouTube boxing, it was great at a time. But the thing is it needs to change. And it needs to change now if you want it to continue. And I have the perfect proposition and the perfect way for YouTube boxing to survive. And the key is in the name. YouTube boxing. This needs to be a YouTube only thing. We need a YouTube channel literally titled YouTube Boxing. And then all of the fights are done at like a local gym or warehouse or something. It's all done in the same place, and they do their fight, and their money comes from the revenue from that YouTube video. Whoever wins the fight, let's say they take 60%. Whoever loses, they take 40%. If that's not enough money for them, they have the whole world. They have the perfect opportunity to make tons of YouTube videos, building the fight up, getting revenue from them, getting brand deals for all of the boxing stuff, you know, building all. If they build up the fight, they will earn money from ad revenue. They'll earn money from sponsorships, because at the end of the day, these guys are not athletes. They are YouTubers. So their money should be coming from YouTube. Not making these massive events thinking they're going to sell like it's some sort of professional event, because it's not. It is YouTubers. It's that simple. I know some people might try and argue with me in the comments saying, oh, yeah, but, you know, they're not going to make a lot of money. You know, they'll make some money from the videos building up the fight and maybe some from the actual fight. But wouldn't it be better for them to pay something rather than nothing, like with the Social Gloves thing? The best part about this idea is if this was a single YouTube channel dedicated to YouTubers fighting, for the fans of YouTube boxing, the fights would be more consistent, as obviously there isn't tons of money going into it. People would basically want to get to the fights as soon as possible, get as much ad revenue, and, you know, it could build an entire channel around this. I can't believe I've just said all this, because I've literally given somebody out there a gold mine of an opportunity to start a YouTube channel right now. If I had money and I was in America, I would rent a warehouse or buy a warehouse, and I would make this channel. I would call the title YouTube Boxing. I would get all the YouTubers involved, and I'm telling you, this idea for a channel would 100% keep the YouTube Boxing going, because people don't have to pay to watch it. People will just watch the, you know, they'll watch the YouTube video. Obviously there'll be ads on there, so no matter what, everybody's winning. You know, it's free The fighters are still making money. It's up to them on their end if they want to make even more by making more build-up videos and, you know, getting sponsorships for the fight. And no matter what, this idea, if someone ever did start that channel, you better fucking thank me, because that idea would literally be guaranteed millions of views and millions of subscribers. There is no way that could fail, because it's win-win for everybody. Even if the video doesn't get loads of views like on the fights, who cares? They haven't really spent any money. All they've done is gone to a gym and trained for a few months, and they're still doing their job anyway. So literally, mate, I'm actually a genius sometimes. This is a fucking brilliant idea. All of this, you know, this YouTube boxing, and realistically, it is dying out. Like, whether I know you guys who are probably watching this video, you like YouTube boxing, and you probably think it's going to carry on forever. It's not. It just isn't. Unless we have a big change like what I am proposing right now. This needs to become a YouTube only thing and stop treating it like it's some sort of massive fucking event with professionals, because it really isn't. The thing is, right, is with this channel, if I got 100,000 views on a video, it's essentially the same wage as what I used to get when I was working my job before YouTube. And as you could tell from my views, I am not earning. I am not getting 100,000 views every single video. And realistically, if you want to live and survive on YouTube, you're gonna have to probably average, I think True Geordie said this, about 2 to 5 million views every single month. Otherwise, you're not really making any money. Like, if you're a kid and you're earning like a few $100s like a month on YouTube, that seems like a lot of money. But in the real world, it's literally nothing. And that's the exact reason why I haven't been uploading videos on YouTube boxing, because it is, unfortunately, it's a dying trend. And at the end of the day, I know who I am, and I'm an entertainer. With all of my friends, all I want to do when I'm not behind the camera, you know, when I'm with my actual friends, all I want to do is just make them laugh. And I do. Like, I am a born entertainer. I love making people laugh. And unfortunately, with the whole YouTube boxing stuff, is I'm not doing that. I'm basically like a news source. YouTube boxing, for me, at a time, it was fun because it was new to me. But the reality is, with YouTube, the whole longevity of it comes from your fans and your audience caring about you as a person over your fans caring about what you're talking about. Because let's be real, if YouTube boxing just disappears off the face of the earth, if I only made YouTube boxing videos, I'd be screwed, because my whole audience is based on one tiny little thing on the internet. So that is why I've been making these different videos. So all I'm saying is, if you watch my boxing videos, please give my other videos a chance, because I have a lot more to offer than just basically regurgitating things that you've probably seen on Instagram. Let's be real. Like, you won't regret it. And you know, I want this YouTube channel to be fun. You know, it's a hobby for me at the end of the day. I thought I could make this into a career, and you know, I haven't been able to do that. And you know, that's why YouTube is not my main priority anymore, because you know, I've kind of figured out that if I carried on the path of what I was doing, you know, I'm not gonna get millions of views talking about KSI versus Jake Paul or Austin McBroom or like Deji returning. Like, it's not, if I want to make it on YouTube, it's never going to happen unless I change my content up. So basically what I'm saying is, I will make YouTube boxing videos when things come up which are interesting to me, and I've been neglecting myself from making content that I want to do. And if you want to watch content with me, you know, get to know me a little bit better, try out my other videos. I promise you won't regret it. Okay, so don't worry, I am going to talk about YouTube boxing when things come up. Thank you everybody for watching. It's been emotional, this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!